Because of this story, I believe in an afterlife. This story is about my favorite patient of all time. Yes, I do have a favorite, but once you hear the story, you'll understand why. My relationship with this patient gave me a belief in an afterlife and decreased my fear around dying. And hopefully it'll do the same for you. This man came onto hospice in his mid-50s. By the time we met him, he was really isolated. He was a hoarder. He did not have many friends or family, and he was really at the end of his rope. I think because he was so desperate, he was willing to change and willing to get help from us, the hospice team. So we really helped this man. We cleaned out his house so it was livable. We invited a couple of long distance cousins who could come in and visit him and kind of helped him get his life together so he could live out the rest of his life. After they left, it was mostly him and the hospice team. I would make visits. He ended up living longer than we expected and very well. So him and I had long conversations about the meaning of life, what he thought was going to happen after he died, if he was afraid, just many philosophical and existential conversations. It was amazing. He probably lived for about 9 months. And at the end of the 9 months, when he was getting close to death, he had a continuous care nurse in his home, meaning a nurse 24/7. I was the RN case manager, so I would make short visits daily. The last day I saw him, I knew he would die that day. He was actively dying. He was unconscious. He was not aware of what was going on. So I said my goodbyes to him quietly in my head in his bedroom and just thanked him for the wonderful relationship that we had. I went to my car and I wasn't really sad. I was happy for him. I felt like we did a great job with him. I knew he was comfortable and I felt happy for that. I was in my car saying my final goodbye in my head to him when suddenly I heard his voice. I heard his voice in my head and I got this wave of joy and freedom and kind of like flying. And I heard his voice. He said, "Oh my gosh, Julie, oh my gosh. If I would have known, if I only would have known." He was kind of like exclaiming it in my head. And that's the best, like it was like he was excited. If I only would have known, if I only would have known. And he didn't really say much. He kept giving me the feeling of like, if I only would have known how good it is, if I only would have known how good it is. And like I said, in his life, he had a lot of struggles. And the feeling I got in this moment was that those were gone. Those were gone. And he was just completely free. It makes me want to cry right now because I could feel his freedom and I could feel his joy. He just kept saying, "Oh my gosh, Julie, if I only would have known, if I only would have known." And you could feel his joy. I was weeping in my car. And then all of a sudden it stopped. And I got a text from the nurse inside who said, "So-and-so just died."